meeting. So we're still down to the one viewer, but it does look like it's going to YouTube. And we're going to refresh on YouTube. It looks like it should be doing it okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your help, Dan. I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, no worries. I'll be here the rest of the broadcast too, so just give me a call if anything should pop up again.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You bet, and have fun.
Thanks, I will. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, we just had some technical glitches. F2F went ahead and fixed them for us, so we've rebooted, and it looks like we're streaming now. Unfortunately, we've lost all our viewers, so we're going to see if they can refresh here soon. And I'm trying to check the YouTube side of things to make sure stuff is working there. All right, so there's the YouTube side. It looks like we are live there. We're going to test the chat. Hello. Excuse me. All right, so it looks like our YouTube folks are back online, which is good. Now all we need is James to get back on the F2F page. James is our next speaker. Poor James, he's in Australia, so he's woken up at like, I think we said 4 or 5 in the morning. Poor guy, he's had half of his segment eaten into and technical glitches. Hey, we got someone from Scotland from YouTube. Amy's throwing up some spirit fingers. I guess that's what that emoji is. And Dave is back from Texas. So we're just going to give a couple minutes to see if we can get James back on. I'm actually going to shoot him an email so he knows. JWN. All right. So again, I apologize for the delay. We look to be going good on YouTube. We still just got me watching on F2F. I think what happened is that everybody is still stuck on that old broadcast, the one that had the issues. And I don't know if they may need to close out of the browser, but there's nobody to tell them that. So Holland, wow, someone from Holland. Hello, 101 Airborne Reenactor. Does that mean that you jump out of planes to reenact airborne occurrences? That'd be pretty neat. So our message from James got sent. What we're going to do is we're going to put this up so you guys have something to look at, and I'm going to mute the microphone until I hear from him. Excuse me. So don't go anywhere. We will be back as soon as we can. So if there was a, I'm talking to the people now. Okay, is that all I needed to do? Okay, perfect. I'm gonna make sure it went back over. Okay, viewers are coming in now. That's what it was. Okay, yep, that's it. That's exactly what it was. People are saying they're seeing me again. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dan. All right, bye. All right, so basically everyone who was in F2F was trapped in like a phantom zone, and that was Dan. He fixed everything the first time around, and he heard me saying that you guys were stuck. And before I get too far, let me make sure that YouTube is playing. Yeah, YouTube's playing. Okay. So then he said I needed to end the meeting to free everybody up. So now everybody's all back together. And we're trying to get James on. And, okay, I think we're good here on F2F, and I think we're good on YouTube. So we're going to throw up our presentation again, and we are going to wait until poor James gets in. He's going to have 10 minutes to tell us about his awesome trailer setup. And we'll have to have him again on a different day to make up for all the time that was lost. Hey, wait, and he's right here.
Oh, hello.
James, hey, how you doing, man?
I'm right.
I feel so bad. I don't know who all heard because I think it was when there were issues going on. But I told everyone, you know, you're calling in from Australia, so it's like 3 or 4 in the morning there. We've got all these glitches going on.
Can you guys hear me well, or?
We got you on now, though. We're glad.
You can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I didn't have my earbuds in. Awesome. That's why. Yeah. If I wasn't paying attention to you, you know that usually does it. They say you got to have the earbuds in. So.
Yeah. No, I think I might have got the times switched around because it's just hit 7 now. So.
Oh, and you've been on for you were on like 2 hours ago too.
Yeah, I came in. I think I got my time messed up.
Well, at least you were 2 hours early and not 2 hours late.
I was. And I got to see Wyatt's one, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good. So, sorry, most of your time got eaten up with technical glitches. I apologize. So, I was going to say, what would be – now, James is another young man in the lawn care industry. You are you 18 as well or about to turn 18?
16.
16. Okay. So, what in Australia, how old do you have to be to drive by yourself? 16?
Well, you can get your learner's permit when you're 16. And then – P-plates for probationary sort of thing when you're 17, I think, and have 100 hours, I think it is in Victoria where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you are 18, you can get your full license, I think it is.
Okay. So how does that work then with you as a young man? Do you have somebody who helps you get around or?
Yeah, well, it basically means I'm stuck if I don't have anyone to take me around. So my dad drives us normally, because I don't think I'm allowed to tow a trailer on my learners, so that'd be hopeless anyhow. So basically I've got to wait until I'm 18, 19 before I can actually start going out on my own, aside from, you know, a couple in my street and the streets around me, which makes it a bit difficult, I guess, because, you know, you're not able to get around as easily.
Yeah, and you've got James. When we were trying to plan for this event, we were trying to find times that would work, and you've got a lot going on. You're a very busy young man. So you were talking about, was it a school production of a play?
Yeah, we just finished that last night, so I've had like 5 hours sleep because I only got to bed at like 11 at night. So
yeah, and then there were some different sports that you had mentioned too.
Yeah, so I've got a lot in my life, and I guess that's the thing. And I'm a student pilot as well down at one of our local airports. So trying to fit in flying lessons too, which obviously the business helps pay for, but that can be difficult because even if you're only going for a 1 hour flying lesson, you're taken up pretty much for 4 hours by the time you have your briefing, walk around of the plane, getting there, getting back, and so on. So yeah, I end up pretty short on time.
Good. So how do you find the discipline and willpower to schedule out everything?
Look, you can get you kind of lose it a little bit sometimes, and like yesterday I felt pretty hopeless because it was Saturday for us yesterday. And, I was hoping to go out and do a few, but it just started raining early in the morning after I got up, and it just kept raining. It was supposed to stop, but it didn't. And so, I was kind of like, oh, really, I really want to get this done, but I can't. So you kind of lose the plot of it, but then, you pull yourself back and you're like, do it tomorrow. So it's a little bit easier. But no, I think the drive is there for me because I'm pretty passionate about it all. So, it's not like it's a chore for me in a sense. It's kind of my way of getting away from the rest of life because, there's so much on that I've got to think about. So, just being able to get out on my own in the open and mow some lawns is great.
It's a nice little zen kind of a distraction. All you hear is the hum of the mower and everything. Yep. Well, that's good. Well, I know you had given me a couple of pictures, and I wanted to look at some of them. Whoops. Well, that's what we've got to look forward to next. Let me go back and switch this because you've got James. I found James on YouTube as well. Pretty much everybody today is has their own YouTube channel, and you can check them out there. But he has quite a unique setup. And I think from the video I watched, I wanted to say that you said that this was a little bit common where you're at, but just for the U.S., it's a little bit of a different setup.
Yeah, it is.
So tell me what we're looking at here, because this trailer had a specific name too. I can't remember what it was, like a John Boy or a Quick Jim or something.
Yeah, well, they're pretty famous in Australia. A lot of lawn mowing guys use them because we have such a small market, and because our lawns are so much smaller, we're not needing your big 60-inch zero turns and everything on all our jobs. So obviously, I've got my little 42-inch lawn tractor there, and I'm buying a 48-inch Toro zero turn at the end of the year. But you don't need anything more than that, and moreover, you can't get anything more than that really into most of our lawns unless you're in a more rural area and you're doing acreage properties like a couple of the guys I know, like Martin from Mowing and Growing in New South Wales there in the Central Coast where he is. Far bigger properties, but me in suburban Melbourne, there's not so much of that, so I just use my 21-inch Honda push mower there a fair bit, and my 42 ride-on. So these trailers, I guess, they weren't specifically made by them, but a massive franchise company called Jim's Mowing, and they've now expanded. I think they've got something like over 40 services that they offer. So everything from fencing, bookkeeping, computer servicing, like everything home related. They do, and it started out just as Jim's Mowing with this one dude in a push mower, and they use trailers like this. So this is actually an ex-Jim's Mowing trailer. I bought it off a guy who did do Jim's Mowing, so you can kind of see some of the green paint still left there. They're a massive franchise. These trailers go for around probably $4,500-$5,000 Australian, so probably $2.5 US. So they're not really cheap for what they are. This is a 7x5 one. So they're very small compared to what you guys have, obviously, with, 12, 16-foot trailers. But because we're so, everything is so congested here, it's a lot easier having one of these smaller trailers. My uncle, who used to be a Jim's guy, actually, he did have one of the big, I think it was a 16 or 20-foot trailer, and he managed to fit a 60-inch Skag, I think, and a Walker on the trailer at the same time, which you basically never see in Australia. So his one was pretty unique. It was absolutely enormous, but there's no real need for that for what I'm doing.
And so the mower actually, it rolls up in this ramp here? That's where you store it?
So it's a little mailbox there, and I store my BR700 in there as well. My backpack blower, and I've also put a little hook on that I I store my stick edger that I've got. I just hang that kind of at the top bit. It's pretty good because then, you're not having to take the ride-on out first and everything, because with my old 8x5 box trailer that I was using at first, when I had the ride-on in the back, I'd have to take that off and then get the push mower out because, it was all just going through the back. Whereas with this, just open the side ramp and there it is. And the same thing with the ride-on. So it's pretty neat to be able to just, get it in and out easily without having to waste time, strapping stuff down and, take this off, take that off. And that's the other good part about it. Really don't need much tying anything down, even for the side toolbox there where all the whippersnippers and everything go, or weed eaters as you guys call them.
I like whippersnippers better myself.
Yeah, a lot of guys use it. We normally just say trimmers, but some of the more homeowners, they just say whippersnipper because it's more commonly known. But yeah, you don't have to tie anything down, which is great because
everything's got its own little box and its own cage and its own door.
It does. Because with my old trailer, I'd need to spend nearly an hour trying to, tie everything down, which really negatively affected my business, I guess, because I was a lot less productive. Whereas now I just open the door, everything's in, let's go. And the same thing at jobs, I was taking 5-10 minutes trying to, ratchet everything down again. I do have a bungee cord and, a couple of little metal hooks that I use for the Honda in the front of the mower box there, because it is, you've got probably a couple of feet of room between the ends of the handlebars and the door there. Mm-hmm. So when I first bought the trailer, it was out near the airport and on the other side of the city from where I am. So I took the push mower just to make sure that it would fit, because one of my mates had a bit of a problem with his trailer and he had to actually fold the handlebar up a bit. So I wanted to make sure it fit properly, and it did. And there was, a couple of feet room. So I didn't have anything to tie it in though, because I didn't realize how much space there would be in there in terms of length. So, each time we were around a roundabout there, because, there was a lot in this new estate where this guy lived, I'd just look behind me in the back seat and just watch the push mower go bang, 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 bang between the two sides in the mower box. So that wasn't too fun. Because
you don't want to treat your equipment like that. If somebody picks it up, you want it to be you, not just driving around.
Yeah.
So does everything lock up? Are you in an area where you feel compelled to use padlocks and all that stuff?
I do have padlocks on everything, and the toolbox there's lockable, so it's got its own built-in lock. And I've got nice, thick padlocks for the rest, because it's not so much we worry about, on the job, of course, there's the issue of, people can just come along and pinch a blower or whatever. And that was something I was really worried about with my old trailer. So I'd end up taking most of my gear into the client's backyard or whatever, just because I didn't feel comfortable with it on the trailer, because, we're in a fairly, crime-free area. But if the opportunistic theft of someone just walking along and saying, oh, there's a leaf blower, I'll just pick that up and keep walking, you don't want that. So, especially with, some of my bigger equipment like that Honda and like my new backpack blower from Stihl, I know for you guys they're pretty well priced, but for us, because we've got such a small market and the exchange rate, of course, those things are $1,000 Australian. So for a blower, it's not cheap at all.
No, not at all.
So the last thing you need is someone pinching one of those off you, because, my other backpack stuffed as it is, as you might know. So, I'd have nothing apart from that little handheld. But, look, we don't have much crime. But the issue, I think the biggest issue is, I've heard of it, a few people have had it, because some people, they just have to park their trailer out the front of their house, like mine is there, but mine sits in our backyard, quite close to where I'm sitting at the moment in our office outside. But I'm lucky that I can do that, because some people just have to chain it to a tree. But one guy I know, he chained it to the tree at his front yard, and during the night someone came, cut the chain, and drove off with the entire trailer and all his gear in it. So
I thought you were going to say they cut the tree down. That would be like adding insult to injury. They cut the tree, took the chain and the trailer. That's rough, man.
Yeah, especially, when people like I have, I keep pretty much all my equipment on my trailer now, so it's just ready to go. I have a tarp over it and everything, but it just sits in there. It's not all in my shed. So if someone's to come along, as one guy did out in Melton, I think recently, or just before Christmas, so in the peak of our growing season, in summer, and this guy had like a $14,000 John Deere zero turn on there. He had a couple of Honda push mowers. He had all these really expensive steel trimmers and blowers and everything in a trailer quite like mine, doing Jim's mowing. Some guy just came up, cut the chain, left it lying on the ground, and just drove off with the entire setup, nowhere to be seen. And just completely destroys someone's business. And he had a family and everything. So, where's the income now,
Yeah.
So it makes it hard if people pinch stuff. So I just prefer to be safe.
I was going to make a comment about the poor design on the trailer, why they didn't put it curbside, the gate. But then I realized, Australia, everything's on the different side of the road. So this is curbside. So wouldn't have worked out in translation. Well, cool. That's a neat little setup you got there. Like I said, I've never seen a trailer like that, before that video you put out. So that's a neat little glimpse into how things work.
Yeah, just like when I first started watching, videos from guys in the US, and I see all their massive trailers, and I think, geez, why are they cutting to need one of those things? Because I actually started off just chucking a little 16-inch push mower and my little steel whippersnipper and blower in the back of our car. So I didn't even have a trailer at first. So then to see guys run around with 20 footers and 3 zero turns on there, I'm thinking, what do you need all that for? But again, completely different market. So that is one of the really interesting things looking at Australia versus America.
Is how different the yards are.
Yeah.
Very neat. Well, so the other part of excuse me. So the other part of this was, since you're a young guy too, you've probably got, a lot of opinions about what it's like to be a young guy in the industry. One of the ones that Wyatt mentioned was where he said he differed from you was you don't mind hiring on your friends. So I want to hear something about that. And then also if you had anything else to add on what some of the challenges would be of trying to do this business as a young person. And I assume that it'd probably be the same as what Wyatt said, but I'd still like to hear them from you, and then, how you've kind of dealt with those and learned to overcome those.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I wouldn't so much, as Wyatt mentioned, I wouldn't so much say I'm all for hiring friends. I definitely think that if you have that ability, and if you're like me and you have, I'm not hiring best friends. I'll have good friends on, but they're not the closest people to me. So, with guys like Connor, I've seen, I've known him for years and years. We actually started school together, so we've known each other for 12 years now. But we aren't, super close or anything. But with kids like him and, one of my other best friends, little brother, Max, and they can, the fact that they respect me and they respect my equipment and they know how much, it costs and how much it means to me. Because, they go into, shop and they say, oh, God, $1,000 for that thing. Well, so they have a lot of respect for what we're doing, and they take it just as seriously as I do. So I think if you have that ability and if you can remain professional, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, if you've got people that, you're super tight with, I wouldn't probably want to hire them on. And there's some kids I wouldn't, because, it's business and personal life, I think there should be a bit of a gap. So you don't really
disagree with what, people say, and that it can be problematic. Your view is you just have to find the right person, someone who you've got, not a stranger, you've got some level of trust and respect, but definitely not, your best friend kind of a thing. Or if someone who, if that relationship went bad, you wouldn't be real sad about it kind of a thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, yes, it's just about finding the right people, and I think even if they are really good friends, maybe, but as long as they have that level of respect and understanding, and I built my business as J&P Lawn Services originally with one of my good friends, Peter, and that worked fine. It's just about, how easily you can get people who understand what it is and understand that it's not just walking into McDonald's and standing there flipping burgers. It's actually you're a far bigger part. And so you need to have the maturity and the respect and the knowledge to be able to do that. And that's why I say to all my guys all the time, I say, look, just because, you're working for me, think of yourself as me, right? You are no different. I do a certain quality of work. I have a certain way of running my business, talking to customers and so on. I expect the exact same from them. I don't expect any less in terms of work quality or anything, and they know that, and they live up to the standards that I set. And that's something I'm really happy with, because it makes it a lot easier for me, and it weeds out any issues that might arise with customers if, different standards of work. And that has happened before in the early days when, we're still getting used to it, because not all these guys have done commercial lawn care before. None of them have, actually. So they're still getting used to it. And I say to the guys, look, these guys are, really new to the game. And I say, yeah, come a bit of slack, whatever. That's a good thing when you have understanding customers and understanding employees, I think, is the key. Your mic's still muted. Brad, you're still on mute.
Oh, how's that? Is that better? They got to plug it in for it to work, and you have to turn mute off. Man, it's ridiculous. So what I was saying to myself and no one else was, that's a good point, and then that kind of falls back on you as an owner then to only take on understanding clients, and to, when you're looking for those people to work for you, make sure you're picking from the best ones. So then what about talking about customers and clients? Do you have any bad stories about people treating you not the way that you would want because of your age? Oh man, that's the face of a man who has dozens of stories. Well, pick one of the best and share it with us. You can change.
That's exactly why I developed this.
Is that for everybody? Do you have everybody on?
That is, I'm progressively rolling that out as of now. And that's just an agreement sheet basically saying, don't screw around with me because I will kick you. And I have actually done that to a couple of customers recently because they're just a pain to deal with. And, some of them...
And when you say kick, you mean get rid of?
Yep.
Not as in literally boot to shin. Although you may want to do that too. But.
Definitely. But no, some of them, they just have, they see me as pretty much just at their service, I guess. And yes, I am, providing a service to them and for them. And yes, they are hiring me. But the aim of that agreement sheet is to say, I am no less capable of firing you than you are of firing me.
Right.
So if I don't like you, I'll fire you as well. Because I've had people who literally, they say, oh, you don't have any other jobs on today, do you? And I say to them, I just get fed up. So I say, do you actually think you're my only customer? And they say, oh, well, you're just a kid. I said, that doesn't mean that, don't think for a moment that you can extort me, rip me off, give me a run because you think you're my only client and I'm going to do everything I can to keep you. In fact, the opposite is true. I'm actually at that point in time doing everything I can to get rid of you, because they think that I'm just there at their beck and call. I have people who, and I did a video in this actually the other day, which is going to be up on YouTube hopefully today. And because people are, I send all my clients a message the night before, or at the very, very latest, early on the morning that we're planning to, come service, because we have a set schedule for them and they know that schedule. So it's just a friendly reminder, really. It shouldn't even be needed. It's just a reminder to say, look, we're coming, make sure all the cars out of the driveway and so on. And I have in that agreement, if people don't respond, which, often they say, look, if we don't respond, it's all good. But I say, if you do not want us to come mow, you need to tell us. Because I've literally had people, I've driven out of my way, past the rest of my route to get to their house, only to get there and be told, oh, no, can you come back in a week's time?
That's no fun.
It's not, because then I'm paying, if I've got 2 or 3 guys sitting in the car with me, I'm paying all of them $16 an hour to sit in the car going to and from a job that we don't even do. So
they're happy about it.
They're happy about it. It's great for them, not good for me. And so, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's why I put it in that agreement. And I think also another thing is people, having different ideas of what our standard service is. So, I have my SMS or standard mowing service actually. So just, mow, trim, edge, blow off, go. And then, if they want more premium work, blade edging and so on, great. We'll quote and charge that as, you request. But, I've had people who, I still haven't been paid the full amount because, they basically just don't want me. And I don't want to deal with anyhow because they've said, oh, I thought when you do that, that includes pulling weeds out of the lawn. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to spend an hour and a bit like crawling around on your lawn trying to pull out weeds when you've said you have a weed and feed thing, which is meant to be sprayed onto the weeds. Yes, okay, it makes it a bit quicker if you pull them out, but it can still work without doing that. So that really gets to me, and that's why in that client agreement sheet, I've just put everything down there. And basically, if you don't sign it, you're not a customer anymore. I'm not even going to bother with you because I don't have time. I am a very busy person, and I can't stuff around with people for hours, trying to debate on what price, how often, what's the service include. I don't have the time or the care to do that. If people are going to be tough to deal with, I'm not going to bother with them. I want good, easy clients who, I just send them a message, reminder we're coming tomorrow, great, easy. Or it hasn't really grown, would you mind coming in a week's time? Awesome, grace. Thank you for letting me know. Yes, I will rebook you. I had 3 or 4 clients do that to me yesterday because our growing season's kind of stopped now, or it's really slowing down. So, it's not growing as much. And they said, look, can you just rebook us? And I said, that's fine. At least you've actually told me. But when I get real mad is when people don't tell me and they wait until I'm at their house to tell me they don't want to cut. So that's one of the difficulties, I think, is people see me because I'm a kid. They think that I'm not really, legit about it. And I'm not really, bothering so much with it. But I am. I've got insurance. I've got all the equipment. I've got, I'm a member of the Independent Lawn Mowing Contractors of Australia. I'm part of the alliances. I've got all the stuff. I'm trying to run this as a business. So people need to treat me like it's a business, not like I'm some local kid doing a couple of lawns in, his street. That's not what it is anymore.
Did it surprise you when you first started out that people treated you like that? Did you go out with the idea that, people were going to treat you with all the respect and, of any other lawn mowing person?
I was hoping to, but at the same time, I was pretty confident that there was going to be some level of, shadiness, I guess, because I am a kid. And, people are probably not going to look at me in the same way as they look at a 40-year-old contractor who's, got the reputable business brand and everything. But I look at it as the way as I am running this as a business. I am doing the work of a business. I am charging like all the other contractors in my area, or a few dollars below in some cases. But I need to, have my customers understand that and treat me that way. So if they're not happy with something, they need to let me know, because I tell them, if you don't say anything. How do you expect me to know that you don't want something done, or you want this fixed or that fixed? You've got to talk to me like you would your gyms guy, like your other local contractor. You know, it's the same thing.
Well, let me ask you this. I get the sense, this is the first time I've ever talked to you face to face. Well, and I say face to face, I get the sense that you're a very, I don't want to say like strong, like over the top personality, but I feel like you stand up for yourself really well. Do you feel like that's accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not. Well, I mean, I'm a.
You're not a pushover. Let's say that, right?
Yeah. No, yeah. I've got a soft heart. I mean, I can be really nice to people, and that's what I like doing. But if people start trying to give me a runaround, and I see that, or people start, doing things that I don't like, I will get tough with them, and I will just say this isn't on. I'm not afraid of doing that, because you can't be afraid of doing that. You have to have that level of, you're not afraid to get, serious with customers if they're not treating you the right way. Because again, I think that's what some people thought was, oh, I'm his only customer. I can do whatever I like, make him charge me whatever I like, and, he'll be fine with that. Well, no, I'm not actually. And yes, I will drop you. And that's what I've done. So it makes it easier for me.
Well, good. And I think that's an important trait to have. It seems like especially more for a younger person, because I think it's good for any kind of lawn care person to have, because you will run into those kind of issues. But I think if you're younger, you're more likely to run into those kind of issues. So you need to make sure you're not that you've got a bad attitude, but that you're ready to step up for yourself and say, this isn't exactly right or fair, and I don't feel okay with it.
Yeah.
Well, very good. Well, was there any other topics that we didn't get to cover that you wanted to touch on?
I think a lot of guys talk, when I see, because I'm on so many lawn care groups, obviously on Facebook and so on, a lot of guys saying, oh, what do you think of this mower? What do you think of that mower? I see some people on there that are just like, they devote their life to a particular brand. They'll devote their life to Ferris, God knows why, or they'll devote their life to Walker, or they'll devote their life to Skag, Hustler, and so on, or Echo, Mario Sands. But I think that's probably the worst thing you can do. And I have people, I say, oh, what would you think about this product, that product? They say, buy an Echo. That doesn't really help me, because there's like no Echo available near me.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just that brand, how do I say, brands, trying to think of the word, loyalty. And I mean, yes, you can be loyal, and yes, I do like my Stihl gear, for instance. I love my Stihl products. They've never failed me. They're always working fantastic. I start that BR700 right up. Even my, everyone knows 2-strokes can be a bit harder to start than 4-strokes. That I've had that little Stihl handheld blower, 2-stroke, starts in one pull half the time. So, and that's after sitting for a couple of weeks without being used. So I think if you've got a really good dealer, that's the important part. And if you've got the support, that's the key bit. Now, I've got a Husqvarna dealer right near me, and I quite like Husqvarna's stuff. I've used some of their products. They're great. But the guy there, I think he lost his personality at birth. He has no customer service attitude whatsoever. You go in there and like, it doesn't even look up from his desk, I go, oh, hi, how you going? Oh, hello. What do you want? Like, I'm sorry, am I going to hand $900 to this bloke to buy a new backpack blower, or am I going to hand $900 to the guy at my local Stihl dealer who, since I walk in, oh, James, how you going? Great to see you again. What are you up to? And so on. It's the energy in them, and that's what I love about my local dealer. Even if it's only a tiny mower shop, just your local mower mechanic happens to be a Stihl and Massport dealer. The fact that they've, family-run business, and they care so much about their customers. Now, I'm not sure whether it's just for me because I've got to know the owner so well, and his family, or whether it's because, that's just how they are. But from what I've seen, it's just the way they always work. You know, they can have tons of mowers sitting in their workshop waiting to be worked on, but as soon as I walk in with something, if I need it fixed, straight on the bench. Let's look over it, James. Come down to the workshop, you know, let's have a look through it. It's not so much, let's just fix it up. He wants to show me how it's done as well, so I gain a better understanding of the piece of equipment I'm using, which I think is really good. And, you know, not to mention discounts and just free advice. It's so helpful when you have someone as passionate as my local dealer is, because they're never going to fail you. And whenever I have any issues, he's right there. Like when my old backpack blower broke a couple of weeks back on a Sunday morning, right? I've got the dealer on Messenger, I think. I just sent him a message. I said, look, this is what's happened. What do you think's going wrong with it? It's not wanting to turn over. It's not wanting to start. It's been running rough. What do you think? And he said, look, sounds like this, sounds like that. Bring it in, take it apart, have a look at it. I said, look, I just need a new blower, because Warranty try stuff around with the guys that I bought that from on eBay. They're an online mower car place that they shipped it down to me. It's, you know, been a few weeks now and I've still basically got no further. Whereas I walk into that shop, right, here we go, bang, done. That's what you need. And I know a few guys have been having issues, say with Skag recently, you know, because some of their dealers weren't honouring warranty and so on. You don't have time for that as a business owner. You really need to have people standing behind their products and the dealers standing behind what they're doing too, because they're the ones putting it all together. They're the ones doing the work. You need to have them helping you as well, because they're the ones you're going to be talking to. So I think dealers are really important. Make friends with them if you can. Go to your local mower shop. Say, hey, this is my name. How are you going? I'm from this business, you know, and get to know them, because then you're going to be opened up to a whole new world of advice, support, even when they're not open. And I think that's a really, really helpful part, which has helped me so much in my business, because I wouldn't have been where I am without those dealers up at my mower shop. So that's a key thing.
I agree. It's not the reps or the executives or the marketing folks at Skag or Echo or Bobcat who are going to be fixing your mower when it breaks. It's going to be the guy down the local shop. So I agree. Well, very good. Well, thank you for your time. If folks want to follow you, I think you've got quite a few social media platforms. Are they all under JWN Lawn Care?
Well, I've got Instagram as JWN Lawn Care, but I haven't been using that so much recently because Instagram won't let me sign in for some reason or another. So I'm not using that one so much, but I've definitely got a Facebook page, JWN Lawn Care. I'm on Snapchat, just as my name. I'm on Instagram as well. My private account's just my name as well. LinkedIn, I'm on there as well because, you know, I found that pretty good. Where else? Facebook, personal accounts, obviously, if people want to just connect and talk. I accept most people as long as they don't look dodgy. So, yeah, if people want to have a chat, I'm really about paying it forward, giving it back, because I've had a lot of support from people like you and Brian Shane and a lot of other guys around me, like Ray Bush, Pitwater Mowing. He's on YouTube as well. All those people that have really helped me build my business up, so I kind of want to do the same for other people. If they need help, I know I don't have tons of experience, but you know, if people need advice, support, whatever, I'm always happy to give it.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, James. I appreciate it. Thanks for waking up earlier than you had to, and still early for your time. So thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of the weekend.
You too.
All right, bye.
See ya.
All right, and now, last but not least, we've got Chantry from Plug Phones. Are you ready, Chantry? You were she was gracious enough to loan out some of her time to James. Like I said, I always like to ask first just to make sure you're not in the middle of eating something. Or let me get you all right. We're going to bring Chantry on, and I'm actually going to get your screen set up. Hey, how are you doing, young lady?
Good. How are you, Brad?
Good, thank you. All right, I've got your stuff ready. Did you want it now or later?
We'll probably chat for a little bit, and then I'll prompt you to bring up some of the images that I got you.
You just tell me what to do. So this is, and I'm saying it right? Chantry.
Chantry.
Chantry. Yeah. I knew I was gonna mess it up. See, I've got the southern thing. I'm just happy it didn't come out like a chantry or something.
Chantry. Yeah, I get that a lot.
And so you work with plug phones, and so you make earbuds. Which are you wearing one right now?
I am. So we are a hearing conservation company called Plug Phones, and what we specialize in making is earplugs with audio capabilities. And yes, that is what I'm wearing right now to talk with you guys. We start with an ANSI and NIOSH certified earplug, similar to any that you would get at any safety store, any of the hardware stores that you normally shop at. And we pair them with high fidelity speakers to give them capabilities that allow you to communicate, listen to music, audiobooks, anything that your phone can transmit to the device.
Very cool. And you guys have a couple of different models. You also, I wanted to show this, your, let's see. Yeah. So you see the Instagram page there?
I don't. It is still showing one of the previous images that you had up.
What? Let me fix that. Here, let's see if this will work.
There we go.
So you guys, you're pretty big. You haven't done a whole lot in the lawn care field yet. Am I wrong in saying that?
We're mostly industrially focused. So the industrial setting is where we sell 80% of our products, but we're having a lot of bleed over into industries like lawn care, hardware, especially because at the end of the day, as a safety product that has some really cool features, it's very applicable to the type of work that you do personally and a lot of your followers do that watch you. Yeah.
And then I was going to say, there was, even like in the sporting arena, firearms, they were in there, and then motorcycle. So there's a lot of exposure into that area as well, where people are trying to listen to something over the noise of the motorcycle. But I thought that was pretty neat. And is this you? Is this you in that photo? Look at that. You won't admit to it?
No, you wonder what went wrong when you have to end up using your own images in your marketing material. I don't know what happened. Your mic is muted, Brad.
I did it again. I went to cough and then I forgot it. So that's a picture from your own Instagram or something?
It was actually a shoot. I got some friends together. We were going to go shoot some new images for a couple campaigns that we were going to be doing in the sporting industry. And my goal was to have him as the model that was going to be featured. But after taking 600 or 700 pictures, my photographer ended up really liking this one of me, unfortunately.
That's too funny.
I ended up everywhere. It's actually funny. I was shooting just this morning with my father. We went to a range and I hooked him up with a pair, and we were using plug phones while we were having some fun with some handguns.
So. Very nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, is that her? That looks a lot like her. I'm going to have to embarrass her and put her on the spot. And ask
my coworkers won't leave me alone about it. They think it's hilarious. So
that's one of those things that you wouldn't let somebody live down for a while.
No, not at all.
So I do have, you guys make a couple of different, so just, the real simple things that like have the 3.5 millimeter jack. This isn't one of them. I'm just holding up that plugs straight into a 3.5 millimeter jack. And then you even got some Bluetooth models as well, right?
Right. So if you want to go ahead and pull up, we'll start with the biggest and brightest, the Liberate 2.0. It's actually similar to what I'm wearing here. So our plugs, our silicone plugs, are rated to a noise reduction rating of 26 decibels. You can compare that to, say, chainsaw, which is coming in over 100 decibels. A lot of the trimmers, the weed whackers that you're going to be using are coming in between 90 and 100 decibels. And the threshold at which point you start running the risk for hearing damage is about 85 decibels over like an 8-hour period. So it's a safety product first and foremost, but we want to create a safety product that works with you rather than against you or makes it hard for you to communicate or do the things that you want to do. So our goal was to bring hearing protection into the 21st century, and rather than making it something that you would forego so that you can talk on the phone or you can listen to music, something that you can do it all in one while still staying safe. So the Liberate 2.0 that you see here on the screen is our Bluetooth model. It's got a 12-hour battery life, and that's a true 12 hours on full blast, full volume, without any breaks. We have one of the biggest batteries.
Can I jump in and ask a question about how, I wanted to, and I didn't mean to throw you off, but how does the level at which you listen to your volume affect all those noise ratings? So like if I've just got some, not smart, dumb little phone things from Walmart. I think those are like 24 or 23 or something for the NRR. And then obviously I've got 0 additional. But if I wear these and then have sound coming in through how does that work?
So we actually have 2 different lines. The consumer line, which is what I'm going to be introducing to you today, it could have an output up over 110 decibels if you chose to do so. But we do have a line that actually limits the volume to 82 decibels and below for those that need to be OSHA compliant, because that's the OSHA regulation is you can't have anything louder than 85 decibels over, on average, over 8 hours. So our volume limiting line simply prevents you from playing anything louder than, is actually good for your hearing. So the way that the consumer line works without that volume limiting technology is still great, because the plug itself is going to reduce your environmental noise to the tune. It's got a noise reduction rating of 26 decibels, which means that you don't have to compete. Your music doesn't have to compete with your environment. Because if you're wearing regular earbuds that don't have any noise cancellation, or they don't reduce the environmental noise coming in at all, and you're saying, if you have a trimmer that's sitting at 96 decibels on full blast, you have to crank your music up above and beyond that 96 decibels in order to hear it over the trimmer, right? So we take you down 26 decibels with our tips, which allows you to play your music at a comfortable level, and you don't have to compete with what's going on around you.
Very cool. Now, was this? Oh, I saw one of your products was on Kickstarter. Is that right? Was that this one?
Yes, this one was, as well as the previous generation. So we launched our Bluetooth product in 2016 on Kickstarter, and that was the first iteration of the Liberate. And then summer of last year, we also did the 2.0 on Liberate, and in total, the 2 campaigns raised about $500,000. And
that's too neat.
They broke records, yeah.
What's that process like when you go through that whole Kickstarter thing from start to finish? Are you like I guess, do you guys have an idea of what you want and you say this is what it is, and people either buy it or don't, or do you work back and forth with the pledgers, or how does that work?
So you typically approach Kickstarter with a working prototype before they will even entertain the idea of having you on the site. So we approached them with our technical specifications and a working prototype, showed them why we feel like it would be a great fit for, their audience and the people that choose to be backers. And then they release it to the public, and I think we did our campaign over 2 months roughly, and people can choose to back, and then we use the money from the backers to actually put the item into production and produce, the thousands of units that we needed to fulfill all of the orders from the backers themselves. It was very, very cool.
That sounds like it. What's the time frame on that, like from start to finish?
We started the campaign, you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember how long it took to get all the approvals from Kickstarter and the like, but we started the campaign in August of 2017 for the Liberate 2.0, and I think we ended it at the end of September, and then the unit went into production, and we ended up shipping sometime in November of last year.
So a good little chunk of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I derailed your.
No, you're fine. So the Liberate 2.0, as you can see here, is a Bluetooth model. And the awesome thing about this is our other models are wired, like you mentioned, Brad. They have 3.5 millimeter jacks, and it plugs into your phone or any other device that you would normally use to listen to audio. And we cut the cords with the Liberate 2.0. So like I said, this features a 12-hour battery life. It's the biggest battery in this industry, in the safety products with audio industry, and that's a full 12 hours on full blast. And we also, it includes an inline mic, which is what I'm using to talk with you right now, is our IsoTalk noise isolating microphone. And then it also features our Quick Draw device, which allows you to adjust your volume, skip tracks, move past tracks, accept, reject, or redial for calls, so you don't have to remove your plugs in order to take calls, which is probably the main way that I use them personally. Even if I don't need the noise reduction, if I'm not in an environment that's super loud, it's still just super convenient to be able to take calls while still having that protection.
That sounds pretty sweet. Oh, the Bluetooth range, that's kind of dependent, not necessarily on your product, but more like on the phone that it's tethered to. Is that accurate?
It's the technology. So Bluetooth as a technology says that their range is typically rated for 10 yards, so somewhere around 33 feet. We've had end users that are using our products that can get up to 100 feet with direct line of sight, and that's typically what it comes down to, is what is between the unit and the device that it's connected to via Bluetooth. If you have buildings or even walls, sometimes can prevent that connection from being really solid, but keeping a clear line of sight between you and your device helps a lot.
So, but with the Bluetooth, at least it's something where the phone wouldn't have to be in the pocket or like connected to one of the strings or something. It could be like sitting on the mower somewhere.
Exactly.
And you said
in the gym, I'll leave it in like my locker sometimes, and I'll go do my workout and not have to worry about it.
And you said you're able to take calls with the buttons on the thing?
Yeah, so it'll read off an incoming call. It'll read you the phone number of the individual calling you, and you can long press or short press to answer or reject. And then the Bluetooth model also has the ability to redial the last individual that's on your call log.
Is that anything that requires a lot of tech setup, or like when it pairs, will it automatically know, okay, I've got to read incoming Brad Bear or whatever it is?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Cool. Very simple.
And so is this your flagship model, like the top of the line one, as far as the bells and whistles?
It is, and it's our best seller, because in this day and age, people don't want to be tied down with cords, and especially when, the kind of work in the line of work that you do, you're moving a lot, you don't want cords to get tangled, and sometimes it's even too inconvenient to run it up like through your clothing to try to prevent it from getting caught on stuff. I wear mine just looped around my neck like this. Just keep it all kind of contained up in my neck area, and I don't have to worry about it getting caught on anything.
Very cool. So for people who may not want to worry about battery life, what's an option?
So if you do prefer a wired version, whether because cost is an issue or because, you would prefer fewer bells and whistles, that's going to be the Guardian Plus, which is going to be a step down from the Liberate 2.0. So the Guardian Plus is a wired model that has the 3.5. Yep, that's it. So you can see it has the same noise isolating inline mic and the same quick draw easy access controls there. It doesn't have the Bluetooth functionality, and you would just plug it into any 3.5 millimeter jack like on your phone or any other device that you have.
And then what are these two different things? This is like the silicone and this is the smushy one? The foam?
The
smushy. That's the technical term too.
Exactly. So the tips are interchangeable, and because they really are true earplugs at the end of the day, they're meant to be used, abused, and replaced. So they come off of the unit pretty easily. You see here, they just slip off and then you insert them back on. So we sell the replacement packs for our plugs. So like I said, the silicone has a noise reduction rating of 26 decibels, and the squishy one has a noise reduction rating of 23 decibels.
So the silicone does actually better at foam than keeping the noise out.
It is, yeah, and it's probably the one that people prefer the most. A lot of it comes down to the shape of your ear canal, how big they are, and personal comfort is a lot of it.
Well, that's surprising. I used, when I first started out, last year, I used those foam ones because I thought they were better at blocking noise out. But I've switched over to some, regular disposable silicone ones that are on a thing. And I actually like them better because they're quicker to put in. You don't have to roll and compress. And I feel like they work, just as well. I don't know if a human's able to or can you perceive the difference in like a 4 decibel reduction difference?
It's almost a skill that you can develop in some
Probably
cases.
you, because this is your job and this is what you do all the time.
It depends on the person. Decibels are not proportional, so the difference between 80 decibels and 81 decibels, it's not 1/80th more louder. It's exponential in that sense. So it depends on how trained your ear is, and if it's something you even care to pay attention to.
But I don't think most of us would. But I generally, if you would have asked me about 6 months ago, I would have said foam is the way to go. But I think silicone's easier to put in and out, and you can clean it up a little bit better too. Feel weird trying to clean foam too.
Yeah.
That's a good look.
If you don't need the microphone and you don't need the quick draw controls, then you would opt for our Guardian unit, which is very straightforward. It's hearing protection with audio, no bells and whistles. This one, the MSRP for this one is about $25. And it's a great starter unit if really all you need is just audio in.
So the previous two are going to be for people who still want to make phone calls. This is if you just want to, instead of, just listening to the mower, you want to start listening to some songs or something on an MP3 player or, just music.
Right.
Very cool. And then I was told there was something to give away. Is that true?
That is true. So if you want
to... I don't know, that people may stop watching after the giveaway. Is there anything else we need to cover first?
I think that's all that I had to talk about.
Okay.
So what we're going to do for the giveaway is for those watching and through the end of next week, so the 30th of March, if you email me at marketing@plugphones.com, tell me how you would use a pair of plug phones if I decided to give you a pair. And please keep the drowning my wife out jokes to a minimum, because I've heard it all before. But email me, tell me why you feel like these would be a good fit for you, and I'm going to pick a winner.
And you said till March 30th?
Correct. So you have a week. Shoot me an email, and I'll choose a winner on the 30th to win one of our Bluetooth flagship models, the Liberate 2.0.
Oh, and then, can I have your permission to make a separate video for the YouTube channel and say, hey, or does it have to be part of this? Does it have to be from people watching this right now?
No, not at all. If it's in the next week, then you can be entered to win.
Very cool.
And even if you don't enter, or if you do enter and you don't win by the 30th, we're going to throw you guys a 15% off coupon because we like you. You can use the code SIA, so Spring Into Action 15 on our website.
See what you did there. I like it.
Acronyms. You can use that code to get 15% off your order through the end of next month, so April 30th.
Just for the sake of full disclosure, that's not an affiliate link. It's got nothing to do with me. They're not tracking how many are sold through me, and nothing's coming back to me. So I know some people get squirrely.
Brad doesn't make any money.
When they start seeing promotional codes, and just full disclosure, it's nothing like that. So
yeah, Brad doesn't make any money off of this, unfortunately, though I probably should be giving him some. He doesn't.
No, because then people would say, the only reason you're having Chandra on is because you're getting money from us. No.
Right.
So James wanted to know if you can ship to Australia. What are your international shipping options? I know we've got a lot of gardeners in the UK and a lot in Australia who are in the YouTube.
We do ship to the vast majority of countries internationally, Australia being one of them. Internationally, we have a flat shipping rate at the moment that is $9.95. Yeah, Australia, UK, most places in Europe we can ship to pretty easily, and sometimes it'll take as long as 2 to 3 weeks. But we also have some distributors in Australia, so we can set you up with someone local, theoretically, in Australia, New Zealand, that carries the product if that's something that you want to look into as well.
Very cool. And I'm assuming he could just email you at marketing@plugphones if you wanted to follow up on that?
Yep, and we'll get you set up.
Helps that you've got a really tiny product. Very compact, makes for easier shipping.
The Liberate 2.0 by itself weighs, it's a 1/6 of an ounce. It's only like 16 grams. It's very, very lightweight. So. I
shipped some, Echo had sent some keychains, and, you know, because of the size, that's about the smallest thing I could ship internationally.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent some to some folks. But it's all metal, right? It's like some kind of I don't know if it's pewter or iron or something, but it's super, super heavy. So I'm shipping this real tiny thing, and they're still like getting, you know, $20 out of me.
Mm-hmm.
International's expensive. All right. Well, very cool. So marketing at Plug Phones between now and the 30th of March to possibly win a Liberate 2.0. And even if you don't win, if you do want to purchase something, SIA 15, which again has nothing to do with me. And now I'm saying it so much, people are going to be like, no, it really does have something to do with him, and he's just trying to be shady about it. And that's good until the end of April.
I apologize for incriminating you. I would have used a different code if I had realized that it was.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Brad's bank account, 15, goes directly into it. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on. You actually stepped in. So I had a third vendor lined up for this time slot that unfortunately they had to back out at the 11th hour. I think Thursday is when I called you. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
The very last hour, you were gracious enough to step in and offer up this giveaway for everyone. So a huge thank you to you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And look forward to seeing you guys in the lawn care community in this upcoming year. So do you guys have, we know we've got an Instagram, Plug Phones, because I put you on blast. Do you guys have YouTube channel or anything else?
Yes, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, all with the handle Plug Phones. So feel free to connect with us there, and I'll be the one personally responding to everything that you guys post there. So feel free to poke some fun at me.
Not too much fun, though.
Not too much fun.
Good deal. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad. Bye.
Bye. Have a good one. All right. And so we finally, some of you may have thought it would never end. Me especially, I might have thought it would never end. But we've arrived at the end of Spring into Action 2018. Big thank you to everyone who's watching. Appreciate you putting up with the glitches. I'm going to try and split this up, the video, so it's easier to watch afterwards. So everybody's going to have their own half-hour segments, and so hopefully this will get some views going on in the future. If you've got any feedback, please let me know at coppercreekcuts@gmail.com. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me if you didn't like it. Tell me if it was boring. Tell me if I'm a bad host. Just be honest with me. Let me know how you felt. But thanks again to all our participants, all of our vendors. Remember, we've got a lot of good giveaways going on.